Casey Cares. We're the voice of Kansas City nonprofits. We share those stories of local nonprofits and the individuals behind them. At Casey Cares, we connect the nonprofit and the profit communities together to enhance the quality of life for Kansas Cityans and those who visit us. This Casey Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. Well, in a time when the world can feel increasingly divided and overwhelming, stories of positivity and connection matter more than ever. While headlines often spotlight conflict and negativity, people in our own communities are choosing a different path, one rooted in kindness, hope, and shared humanity. For Jennifer Hunsinger of Lee's Summit, Missouri, the aftermath of the 2016 election season became a turning point. She felt a calling to help shift the conversation in her community, from frustration to encouragement, from division to joy. The inspiration led her to launch Project Happiness LSMO. It's a grassroots effort designed to brighten lives and spark meaningful connections among friends, neighbors, and beyond. So what exactly is Project Happiness LSMO, and how does it work? Jennifer is joining us today to share the heart behind this inspiring movement and how small acts of positivity can really create a powerful ripple effect. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, let's get into your background a little bit, and then we'll get to 2016. Tell me about kind of your background, your life up until that breaking point.
Okay. Well, most importantly, I'm a mom of two beautiful girls, a wife, and I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. And I just loved my neighborhood, my kids. I loved the connection I had in my community. It was just really important to me. So yeah, I was a mom.
Okay, but 2016, as I alluded to in the introduction, was a real tipping point for you. Take us back and what was going on and what was your mindset?
Yeah, really in my life, I had never noticed a time where you couldn't speak to neighbors and friends and sometimes even family about politics until 2016 hit. And I was like, oh my gosh, people were so divided, I felt like. And I had created a community in my neighborhood where we had block parties, we had fire pit nights, we just did a lot of fun stuff together. It was the place I was raising my kids, and I wanted it to be a happy, safe community with lots of connection. And so that was very important. But I realized in 2016 that times were changing in our world. And I knew that with the upcoming political presidential election, that signs would start arising in people's yards that I felt would cause divide because I could see it on a world stage. And I didn't want it to happen in my sweet little community.
How old were your kids at that time?
Oh, goodness. That's a good question. 2016.
So 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, it was 10 years ago. And like 10, 11 years old. Yeah.
Now, were they coming to you with any concerns, or had you been really good at trying to keep some of that animosity out of their viewpoint?
They didn't have any concerns. When I brought the idea to them, my family really liked it. They just didn't know how I would get everybody on board with the idea because it wasn't something I could just do out of my own home. It required the entire neighborhood joining in. And so probably the real, not necessarily concern they had or wondering they had was, well, Mom, how are you going to get, all the neighbors to buy into this? And that's where having a good connection to them prior to 2016 really showed up. Because when I took my idea to all the neighbors, they were all on board, which was probably something that most everyone was shocked about. I mean, that people are still shocked about that.
All right. What was the idea? What did you, with the grand idea that you came to everybody with?
Yes, I wanted to replace political signs in people's yards with signs with positive messaging, just like be kind, have the best day ever, keep smiling. I wanted signs that were handmade that said fun captions. So when you were driving, you saw them, it put a smile on your face. It made you, it helped you uplift your attitude and you go out into the world and just be happy. And instead of the political signs. And so that was my big idea, but it required not just a sign in my front yard. It required signs in to make an impact. I felt like all the neighbors' yards, and there's like 30 some neighbors. So I said, we have to go door to door. We have to ask these people if they would allow us to put a sign in the yard. And every single home wanted it. Every single home wanted the signs, and most of them wanted to help make the signs. So we had a really fun sign making party at our house and made the signs.
So that was 2016.
Yeah.
How did you start to move things forward?
Well, when we placed the signs, then we knew it had a huge impact. I mean, cars were honking, waving, stopping, and asking, "Why are you doing this? This is so cool." And the next day after the signs in the yard, news stations came. We were on the cover of the Lisa paper. We knew right then, oh my gosh, we've done something amazing. And so after that, once it occurred, it was meant to be a one-time event. The neighbors all remembered it and they wanted to do it again annually. So really, it just became like this snowball effect. Like we did it once and then people requested it and we just continued.
So did you create any kind of schedule? Was it set on certain holidays?
It was not. It just became so we did it during like August in 2016, and then the next, winter passed, spring came around, and next summer came, and people thought, we did this last August. When are we going to do the signs again? And we thought, okay, let's do the signs again. So we did it again. And then the following year, a neighbor down the street was like, my street is a mile long. And she came to me. I didn't know her, but she came to me and she said, you do the signs. Why are the signs just in your block? Like, why are they just in like 36 houses when we have a mile long street? And I was like, I don't know. We did it on our block. And she's like, no, I want it on my block as well. And so she really helped stretch the project from one block to a whole mile long street. And then it just became an annual event. And then everyone loved it. We were continuing to get news coverage. It was so exciting. Our street became known for, the fun signs, like come down Bristol Drive, there's fun signs on there. And so then in 2019, people started giving us money for the signs. Like originally we were just paying for signs. We bought all the materials and did it ourselves. And then in 2019, people started giving us money and we thought, well, that shouldn't be money for us to benefit from. We should turn this into a 501c3. So much work. I don't know. I love it. But it's
okay.
So much work.
So let's talk about that. I think as part of our show is we try to give the wise experience and best practices from people who've walked that walk to become a 501c3. How did you start and who helped you, if anybody?
Yes, I had a friend who had done it for an animal rescue group. And she said, Jennifer, if you want to do this, I can help you. I know how to fill out the paperwork. And so I will be honest with you, I had no idea what I was getting into. I had people donating money to me, and I just wanted to then give back. I didn't know anything about I just thought, let's just be a charity. This will just be great. And so we sat down at her kitchen table one day, filled out all the paperwork online. And a few weeks later, I get the letter that you are a 501c3. This has been approved. And I thought, oh, that's great. I thought really that's what it was. I thought, okay, you have this. Now you can begin to take this money from people and you can give back. And if they want a receipt for their taxes, you can give them that. It wasn't until, honestly, like a year later that I met someone who worked in the nonprofit realm. And she was like, do you have bylaws? Do you have a board of directors? And I was like, what is this all about? Like, what are we talking about? And she's like, oh, yes. And she said, Jennifer, these are things you need to do to be on track. And so then it began. We created bylaws. We built a board. That's not the easiest thing. It's just, there's so many challenges, more so than I ever thought, when my whole goal was just like, well, let's take this money and donate it.
So you literally sat at a kitchen table and created your kitchen cabinet, so to speak, with your board of directors. Who'd you put on your board?
So in the beginning, I tried to pick people that were nonprofit savvy, that understood the world of nonprofit because I didn't. And so my daughter's best friend's mom had worked in the nonprofit world. And so she was on my board originally. And then my friend Lainey Franklin, who also worked in nonprofit and had a degree in nonprofit management, she was on my board. And then my husband. And so it was just the four of us navigating through this for several years and creating our bylaws, and then we got to a point where we thought we could add a couple more people. And it's tricky adding people to your board. It's very tricky because I feel so passionate about this project and everything we've done that it's you pick someone who might feel passionate or say they love it. I love your project. I just want to be a part of this. But then when the rubber meets the road, it's kind of hard to find people that want to put the energy and effort toward it. And I don't expect them to match the energy of the founder. And I don't expect that. But I do kind of have expectations. And so it's curious to try to find someone to know the difference between a volunteer and a board member. What's a volunteer look like? What's a board member look like?
So you were doing this simultaneously. 2019 rolls around. You're getting those donations. I imagine you had to open bank accounts and all of that financial side of running a nonprofit. Then this ugly thing came in called COVID.
Yes.
What was that time period like for you all? What did you do? How did you handle things?
It was definitely a pivot because previously I mentioned to get the signs in people's yards, we went door to door and we created connection. And 2020 was a time when you were told to distance, social distancing was the thing. No one was going to open the door to you. They were just told to not be around people, So, and I wasn't going to send volunteers out to knock on people's door when they might not feel comfortable doing that either. And so we thought, wow, but we were getting emails and calls. We need the signs now more than ever. Like we absolutely need signs out. We don't know what's happening. We're all home, quarantined. What is going on in the world? And so my family thought, okay, well, we can make these signs because now we're all quarantined. I have two teenage daughters. We're all home. We have plenty of time. And so we started making the signs and we just put a cooler at the end of our driveway and we just put the signs and the stakes in the cooler, and we started on social media saying, signs are out, just come get the signs. So instead of me going to Susie's house to say, Susie, do you want a sign? I'll put it there. Susie would have to come to my driveway to get a sign. And that was like revolutionary. And so every day the sign box would be empty. Me and my daughters made 1,500 signs the summer of 2020. We had our biggest year yet. It was amazing because I'm such a people person. People will come to our driveway. It's the way I kept connected to the community. I mean, I would stand on my porch, I'd talk to them, they would come talk to me. You'd hear the craziest COVID stories. People were yearning for that connection, but they knew they were being told not to. They were being told to distance. And so it was fabulous for my family to be able to still connect to people because they were coming to us. And I just felt so connected to the community in a time where that wasn't really what we were supposed to be doing, and we were able to really make a difference. We were able to make an impact in the community with those funds that we received, and it was just, I look back on that time, and I have a lot of emotions about COVID, as all of us do. But for me, the time with my family to connect with the community it'll be in my mind forever as a fabulous time.
You made a connection to the COVID cooler, and out the signs went.
Yes, so many.
So we start to roll out of it. First of all, what have you been doing with the funds that people have donated to you all?
Yeah, so many different things. So in COVID, we were able to buy a refrigerator for cold water. There are No Hungry Kids program. We were able to pay off lunch debt. A couple times we've been able to pay off negative lunch debt at our local elementary school. We were able to help foster, adopt, connect with new shoes for foster kids. We help neighbors in need at times. There's a whole myriad of projects that we've been able to do over the years that is really fun. Probably my most What was something I'm most proud of is we've created a scholarship fund for the three high schools here in Lee Summit. And that is not an academic scholarship. It's for kids who kind of have the same idea as us, who want to serve and have a passion for serving and want to make a difference. And every time when this time of year rolls around, they start filling out their applications. It makes me so proud to see the upcoming generation and how they have a heart for serving.
Are these scholarships then for seniors or any
Yes.
age group? Or
Yeah,
tell
high
us a little
school
more about them.
seniors. High school seniors apply, and it's a one-time $500 scholarship, and we offer three of those to the different schools here. And they just have to let us know, like, what they've done as far as service throughout their time, through their life, throughout high school. We're really looking for special projects that they've created, not necessarily A+ hours, which is kind of a required graduation,
Mm-hmm.
something you have to have that's a requirement. I don't really want to know if you've checked the boxes for that type of thing. I want to know if you went above and beyond and created something really neat. So that's always the funnest, to read those stories when sometimes you might not be optimistic about the future of our world. But I see a lot of great kids out there in Lee Summit.
We're talking with Jennifer Hunsinger. She is the founder of Project Happiness LSMO, out there trying to bring positivity into our world. All right, now that I said LMSO, or LSMO, let's explain why you have those four letters on the back of your nonprofit's name.
Yeah. So when I sat down that day in my friend's kitchen and we were trying to come up with the organization name, we had said Project Happiness was what it was when we made the signs, but I felt like we needed to make it more specific to us. So we're in Lee Summit, Missouri. And so we added LSMO. And at the time, it sounded like a great idea. But once we did become a 501c3, we realized that there's other Project Happinesses out there, and people were still just referring to us as Project Happiness. So people would say, I donated to Project Happiness, and we would never received anything, and it would have went to another Project Happiness. And so over the years, we have tried to really brand ourselves as Project Happiness LSMO, but we do run into the occasional, like, I gave to Project Happiness. And so that's frustrating. It's just maybe a lesson learned and something we've not, changed our whole name from. So just a lesson learned.
Well, we'll give you a moment to plug your website then, so everybody will go to the right place to check you out.
Yeah. And so we have a new website launching at the end of the month, which we're very excited about. But you can find us at projecthappinesslsmo.org. And you can see, our annual reports are on there. You can see printouts, pictures, images of people with signs, things like that. Right now, we have you donate through our Venmo, and so our Venmo's on there. Yes, and we should have at the end of the month a really fabulous new website that we're really proud of and have been working on.
Where are you today with things? And are you still in your kitchen making these signs with your now teenage, maybe college age daughters?
My daughters are in college, so I don't have any help making the signs. So I really felt that when they went away to school. And one of them is a graphic design major, so she's an amazing sign maker, but she's off at K-State, so that's fine. When she comes home, I have her help me. And then my other daughter also makes fabulous signs, but she's at Missouri State. So I make them by myself at the house. I make them every evening, and then we put them out for the public spring. So starting March 14th, we'll have them out for people. They're out every Saturday unless it's raining, all the way through fall. And so people are encouraged to come to my house, take a sign. They don't have to leave anything, but 100% of the donations just go back into the project. We don't have any paid board members. So whatever you leave goes back into the project. It allows us to do outreach. Like, we work with Girl Scouts, we work with different youth organizations. Anyone who wants to create signs or is interested in spreading positivity, we use the funds, the donations, to help further our project. So I still make them.
Yeah, your signs are homemade. There's lots of ways to print signs and things. Why haven't you switched to that model so you're not like writer's cramp in the middle of the night?
It just would take the charm away. I've seen signs that I could send to the printer, and people have often asked me that. Like, if you want to scale this project, wouldn't you need to go through a printer? And that's probably true. But there is some charm to our signs. The front and the back are different. They're different. And I have to say, the messages that I find help me. Like, I mean, I think it's kind of like therapy. Like if I'm going through something in my life and I'm looking for messages that evening, I search those type of messages just to help my own mental health. And then when they land at someone's house, that's helping their, that's also helping them. And so it's very personal. How I go through my process in making the signs, and I feel like it works. And I'm not interested in just printing out a bunch of signs.
Who are your helpers? I mean,
Um,
your daughters were your helpers before, but they're off at college.
they
Did they?
were. The board members don't make signs. I recently had a volunteer ask if she could make some signs, so I sent some signs her, but I haven't found anybody who's really just interested in making signs. It's really hard to find someone that, it's tedious and it might be redundant to some people, and I just haven't found anyone that has the same like passion to, let's make signs every night. So it's just something I enjoy doing.
Is that something that volunteers could help you with, that you'd be open to having groups assist with that? Like as a scout project or something?
Yes, if they felt like that's something they can do. And I do have I like them to have a certain look. So I just want them to look nice because they're representing our organization. And so, yeah, if they felt like they wanted to try their hand at it, they can reach out to me.
Are these waterproof? Because you said they go out spring, summer, and it does rain.
Yes, they're waterproof. They're permanent markers. It's on a heavy coroplast, permanent. They'll last for a long time. I just don't put the box out. We've upgraded from a cooler since COVID. We had a carpenter make us a nice box, and so I just don't put the nice box out on rainy days. But the signs are waterproof, weatherproof. They stay out all seasons, and there are still signs in our neighborhood now all winter that people have kept out. It's just I'll be excited for the sign box to come out in March for a refresh.
I was going to say, do you do a refresh? Do you choose special colors? Like is 2026 the color of teal and blue, or?
No, sometimes we'll have like when the Chiefs are doing good, we'll have some red signs out, things like that. So we'll have a lot of blue hearts when the Royals are out. We do spruce them up a little bit, but usually just gold and red for when we want to celebrate the Chiefs season. That's about it.
How many signs would you estimate are out there that you have spread with positive messaging?
I mean, it's just been, at least, we do at least 500 a year. The COVID year, 1,500 was huge. So there's just thousands of signs out there. And the signs aren't, last year we started a different way to spread positivity because it bothered me that the signs were up in winter and we weren't doing anything fun. So I had this idea that we create like a gumball machine, and inside the gumball machine was positive messages. And so I found a company to create a free spin gumball machine. It's the cutest thing. We call it our Positivity Pod Machine, and we move it around businesses in downtown Lee Summit all year long. So every month it's at a different business, and all ages can spin the little gumball machine and get a positive messages. There's like over 100 different positive messages in this machine. And so we're spreading positivity that way as well as the signs. And that's so fun. I just love it. It's the cutest thing.
And who makes all those hundreds of messages that go in those teeny little holders that we all know about?
Okay, I have volunteers that do that. I create the messages, I print them off, and then I have some fabulous volunteers that do not mind rolling up the messages and putting them in the tiny little pods. So I'm very thankful for several volunteers that do that because that is not my passion. So I can make the big signs, but I'm not a fan of filling up the pods. So I'm thankful to have people to do that.
All right, so you are based in Lee Summit. I love that it's your community, your neighbors, perhaps your family members. All right, why are you sticking to Lee Summit? There's a whole big metro here. We've got the World Cup coming. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I figure that they're at my house. People can come get them and take them wherever. I mean, the signs do land in other states and different cities if you come to my house to pick them up. And if I had special requests of people that wanted to do it in a certain neighborhood, I'd love to partner with them to help them make that happen. So I'm not opposed. It's just that with it being me making the signs and I have a full-time job, I'm a secretary during the day, and so I don't have endless time. I'm not a paid member to do this, so I don't have endless time and resources to do it for all over. But if you live in a different city and you want to come to my house on a Saturday and grab some signs, feel free to take them to your neck of the woods.
I'm feeling maybe chapters in Kansas City. There you go, affiliates. And you
Yeah,
can school them in your design tricks.
that's
Because
right. I know, it's smart
I'm not
thinking.
a I'm not a coloring person, so I would definitely have to be schooled in your beautiful talent on how those signs look and in your I love these positivity pods. How have businesses reacted to that? Are they open
Oh,
to that? I mean,
yes, they love it. We've had such good responses. I mean, we have some really quaint, cute spots in Lee Summit. Our downtown Lee Summit is fabulous. So when it was at our Poppy's, our little ice cream store in downtown Lee Summit, we were filling that machine so frequently. It was just getting so much traffic and everybody loved it. It's been at the bookstore, Katie's Books, at Mesner's. It's been all over. And so we're super excited. This month it's going to be at Prodeo, the youth center. And so
oh
we're
yes.
very excited to have it at Prodeo. And then next month it'll move to Green Street. So it just goes all around, and you can find out the location on our social media. So if you're wondering where the Positivity Pod machine is, because there's only one, she just hops all around downtown Lee Summit, and the owners say their guests love it. It's great.
It's great. And who can't resist? You
I
can't
know.
resist that little turn thing and thinking you're getting a prize. So a positivity prize.
Well,
What
I
a
love
great
it because I feel
idea.
like it brings out the kid in you. When people saw it, they thought it was just for kids. I'm like, no, this is going to bring out the kid in you. And it's free. Like, you don't need to ask your mom for a quarter. Like, go just spin it and get an awesome message. And we recycle the pods, so that's really fun. So we're not putting all that plastic out into the world. We recycle the pods, and it's the cutest.
So people take their message and you have a pod drop,
Yeah. Yeah, we have a little pod
so to
drop. They
speak.
put the pods. Yes, unless they want to keep the pods, they're very colorful and cute.
Where do you see this going in 10 years or 5 years? Where do you see your venture?
I would love to grow our scholarship program. I would love to grow where we could do billboards sometime with positive messages on it. I would love to just grow as far as maybe not necessarily grow, as you mentioned, signs going further out. I'd love more people in our community to support us, and so we could help more people. That's really what my goal is. I would love to be able to help more people. Anytime I see a need, I would love to have the money in our bank account to fill it. But as a nonprofit, a lot of our cost, a lot of the donations we get go back into our supplies. And we have a handful of people that donate monthly to us. And I would love that to grow. And we're always trying to grow that. And so I'd like for people to see the impact we're making. It's hard to quantify it's hard to
Right.
say we help 50 people a month, 500 people a month, 5,000 people, because our messages go out. I mean, you don't know how many people drive down your street and read those signs every day. So it's hard to quantify that. Um, and so I think that's kind of a barrier to us because we're not able to say we help X amount of people. But I would love for more people to support us so that we could do more in the community. We could help out more in the community. That's really what I would love. I'd love for it to go strong for 10 more years. This past year was our biggest year yet. We've grown every year. And so I hope that that just continues.
You're doing amazing work. Positivity is needed so much, and you all are a breath of fresh air. So I just encourage you, think big. Don't short change yourself. You never know. This positivity dynasty could go out there and it would be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I thought when we started in 2016 that was like such a tough time in our world, and I thought people really needed it then. And then as the years progress, I feel like, wow, okay, now we really need this. I feel like we need it more and more. I don't ever feel like I don't feel like we're going to ever reach a time. It would be nice if we reached a time where we didn't need this extra positivity, but I have to say, I don't see that. And I know there's so much good in the world because I see it every day from the people that get our signs, from our supporters, when we have events and our supporters come. There's so many fabulous people out in the world. And I love that. And it gives me hope. And when we do the scholarships, we read what the kids are doing. It just gives me hope. And I love that. I love to be able to connect our community through events and send positivity out there. There's so much good in this project. It includes everyone. It's just a fabulous, fabulous project that I feel very, very passionate about.
Well, thank you for stepping up to the plate and leading with your heart.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. And we're produced by a nonprofit called Charitable Communications. This Casey Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing, Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on Casey Cares like Jennifer, check out our website, caseycaresonline.org. And spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at Casey Cares Radio, and on Instagram at Casey Cares Online. And don't forget, Saturday mornings, you can catch us at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 a.m. and 94.5 FM. Thanks for joining us on Casey Cares.